Hey everyone, welcome to Coffee and Darts. This is episode 42, and we have the wonderful Kyle Anderson with us today. I'm super excited to be able to spend some time chatting with him, talking about darts, talking about just the Auckland Masters. We're going to talk about his move from Unicorn over to Shot Darts. But before we bring him on, I do want to thank my sponsors. Of course, one of those is Shot Darts. Check out Shot Darts at shotdarts.com. Also, Magicwear. It's where these wonderful jerseys come from. Check out Magicwear at magicwear.com as well. I did play 18 hours of darts in this particular jersey. I have a new jersey coming out, and once I get that, we're going to go to a 24-hour day of darts where I'm going to play. Those that want to come on and play me, we're just going to practice. We're going to get crazy, and we're going to do it for charity all at the same time. All right, enough of me. Let's bring Mr. Kyle Anderson on. Hey, Kyle, how you doing?
Not too bad, mate. How are you, mate?
Doing great. Doing wonderful. First thing I want to say, just so that everybody out there knows it, it is Kyle's birthday. So happy birthday, Kyle.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yes, I'm very, very happy to have you on the show. We'll just get things going. I'm going to shoot out the first question. Let's talk about how you got into darts. Was it a youth situation? Were you older when you decided to pick up the barrels? How did you get started in darts?
Through darts. My dad played, my mum played, my brother played, so it was around me all the time. And we used to have family barbecues where the uncles and aunties came around. And, of course, when there's alcohol involved at family gatherings, there's a dartboard around, everyone just flocks to the dartboard. And I was taught at a young age. I think Dad told me the first thing I learned to throw was dart, and it just went from there. It skyrocketed to something I love.
Nice. Did you play leagues when you were younger, or did you get into like a youth type program?
When I was about 11, I think it was, I was sitting down watching Dad play darts at the local pub, and the lower grades needed a fill-in player for the night, and I was playing a Game Boy. That's how far we're going back. So I got asked to play. I didn't want to, and Mum said get up and play. So I played, and from then on, it was a weekly ritual.
Nice. And of course, it's grown into a love of darts and a career, which is exciting. So, and Steven here says, nice beard. We do like the COVID beard. That's looking good. So, so just as we get into this, and if anybody didn't know, Kyle is, of course, a PDC player. He's a top-ranked player. Been playing darts for a while. Has some ranked tournaments that he's won. He's won the Auckland Masters, which we're going to talk a little bit about that. But see, you're also, more importantly, a husband and a father of a nice young man. And those are definitely the things that drive you for playing darts. What's it been like being a parent and doing the PDC tour? Because you guys don't live over in England or Europe in that area, so you've got to be away from the family. What's that like?
Not much people know, but I travelled across in 2014 with the wife and son at the time, and then 6 months into it, unfortunate, I didn't play as well as I thought I would, and I still had a contract to legally bind by it, and I had to go back by myself, and it turned into from then 6 years onwards, and it's today. It's been very hard. I've missed birthdays. I've never had a Christmas with them because the world's on Christmas, so I really can't come back for Christmas. So it's a good job to have when you love darts, but on the family side of things, it's a very big strain.
Yeah, I can imagine. I think we're seeing like MVG. Of course, he had a pretty good day today, but we've seen the strain of having a family on him. And then you look at Peter. Peter had the family when he was younger, kind of stepped away from darts, came back to it, and of course he's currently world champion. Mm-hmm. So it does play on that. And I do want to give a quick shout out to Damon Hedda, who won yesterday. We need to give him props. He's another Australian that won his first ranking title with the PDC. Australia's producing some really great players. I'm really excited to see what's coming out.
Me and Damon went to school together from year 8 through onwards. So, we weren't really into darts as teenagers. We were into the things like football, Australian rules football and all stuff like that. But from then on, we got to an older age and it just was darts. So we travelled together. We drove each other's car and mind you, if someone drank, I was the driver. It was pretty much the teenage friendship that you have from school that leads on, and fortunately for us, it led on through darts.
Nice. Yeah, and he made quarterfinals again today. So, I mean, I think he's a great darts player. If nobody's seen him play, he really is a great darts player. He's got a great heart and desire for the game. So, let's talk about the move from Unicorn to Shot. So, we do see players move from one manufacturer to another, and there's a process. And I don't think people really understand. You've got a family there that you're kind of breaking away and coming to a new family. And I think you picked a great family in Shot Darts. But what was that process like for you?
It was pretty easy. I've known Peter for a number of years. And when me and Mac, my manager, sat down and spoke about things, I said, look, it's coming to that sort of part of the career. Let's push back to go back home. And Shot was close. I was with them when they were called Puma. So it was a bit of a, I said, look, let's have a shot. Let's have a good, mind the pun. I said, let's have a good shot and see what we can get. Got a hold of Peter. The connection hit back straight away. And I said straight away to Mac, I said, that's it. We've got it. I'm happy. No matter what happens, I'm happy.
Very nice. Yeah, Peter was on the show a while back talking about their 50th anniversary. Nice guy. Really, really loves darts and the darts community. So
what makes it easier, he's got a sense of humor. So you can have a laugh, you can have a joke with him on the same time as business as usual. Yeah.
So I've seen your box. I got a sneak peek of the box. I haven't seen your barrel yet. I don't know that you guys are done with that or not. We'll ask that. But the box is phenomenal. I think it's going to look great. What's the process been like picking a barrel, going through that?
It's a process where I knew what I wanted straight away. I said to Peter, to Gavin, I said, I want this shape and I want a certain grip alongside. I want something different and something that stands out in that fact. And a lot of shot darts, as you know, a lot of them do stand out from the grip and the scrapings and the markings that they have. So I wanted to bring something of mine to shot. So of course, it's going to have something to do with the Aboriginal heritage I've got. And have you seen it as the artwork on the packaging? It shows out.
Yeah, they've got beautiful stuff. They have these two. I'm going to give you guys a sneak peek. Well, it's not too much of a sneak peek, but these two products are hitting the market this week. And I've done some reviews on them, and I'll tell you, they are phenomenal. I always say this because I love Shot. I think they do some of the best art, craftsmanship. They're pieces of art that we get to throw. But these two barrels are phenomenal. They are incredible barrels. So what was the process? Did it take this? I guess this is the question that I always have when you do this, because I just did a barrel with Shot. Did you get you had an idea and they did a rendition? Did they make a couple of barrels so you could try them out? Was there like 5 barrels? I mean, what was that part like?
We went on the shape that I wanted. So I sent a set of darts that I had that were that shape. They got the exact shape, and I said I want a certain grip. So they did 3 different grips up and down the barrel. We toned them down to 2, and now I've gone to 1, but I've got a couple more tweaks to go with. But I think we're pretty much on the end for the barrel.
Nice. Well, I can't wait to get my hands on a set and give them a review and try them out. Excited about that. So I did want to ask, and as this was reported, there are a number of players that are not going forward with playing anymore with the PDC this year, especially as the PDC is we're bringing crowds back. And if you didn't know that, starting this week, crowds will be back at some of the tournaments. And you're one of the people that decided, hey, for travel reasons, for family reasons, I want to just hold back until next year. What was that decision? Was this something you made with your family, as in, hey, this is the best thing for us? What transpired?
Well, I was going to go back for the World Series and the Autumn Series and all that. I went to the doctor to get my travel medication. I'm a type 2 diabetic, so I need my insulin and all my medication. And she turns around and goes, I'm not giving you the okay to go. She goes, you've had COVID already. It's not gone, the whole COVID situation around the world, the pandemic. So she said, I don't feel comfortable with you going. So I sat down with the wife. I said, look, what do you think? And she goes, well, doctor said no. so you can't go. And that was it.
So the wife said no, and so that was the end of it.
That was it. I said I'd rather not argue with her and just have a good time home.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you're missed for sure. I've always enjoyed watching you play. You do the bounce, before you throw. I've tried to emulate that just for fun. It's not a thing for me, but it works for you. Where did that come from? Where did you pick that? Was that just natural or?
It was natural. I don't practice during the January period because when I come home, January is my time for being dad because that was my break off darts. And I came home and then went back in, I think it was February from 2015, I think maybe 2016. And that's how it came out. I didn't know. To me, it was just normal. And that's how it came out. And I got to the quarterfinals of the UK Open. I was like, okay, fair enough. Let's keep it.
Yeah. Hey, it's working.
Yeah.
It's working. So let's talk 2017. That was kind of like a breakout year, we'll say, for you. You had some success, but 2017, with the Auckland Masters, Corey Cadby, who was the young up and coming superstar, that was supposed to take the helm kind of sort of thing. You guys had a real battle for that tournament, that trophy, that win. Can you walk us through some of the emotions, the feelings, and what that was like?
You know what? When I got there, we did the draw, and I sat down and I said, "Give me anybody but Gary." And I got Gary. I was like, "Oh, here we go." My first invited tournament, and here I got Gary. So rock up, and I played against Gary, and I couldn't hit nothing backstage at all on the boards practicing. I couldn't hit nothing, so I was thinking to myself, just go out, play okay, and don't embarrass yourself. And then I ended up beating Gary. And then next night, I believe it was Simon, I think.
Yep.
And yeah, got lucky. He missed a couple of darts to win the match, but got through that one. Then it was against James, and I just felt, you know what? Just do what you do, and you are playing well. You're scoring well, and you're hitting doubles. And I think that was when I was hitting tops on a regular.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you get Cadby, in the finals, which of course another Australian, and he's got a lot of swagger at that time. That was a good battle. I mean, he started off. I think he took the first two games, and he looked like the stronger player, and then you just pushed back, and you guys went the distance, and you came away with the win.
I said to him, I knew he was going to come out flying because that's how Corey plays.
Yeah.
And I said to myself, just try to get a couple of legs. Albeit I got one, and I thought, it's going to be a long night. And then the next section, I ended up taking that one 4-1, which I could have took 5-0 in that one. And that was a turning point. I think when I hit the 160, I think that's what gave me spark in the whole match because it brought me out of my shell. I was no longer thinking just survive. I was thinking, you know what? You're hitting trebles. Let's go. And after that 160 went in, I just felt good.
Yeah. Yeah, it was exciting. My son is 6 and he loves darts. He is every day we play darts. We actually use darts as our math class since we're homeschooling. And he's phenomenal on the board. His subtraction, multiplications, and his addition through the board is phenomenal. At 6, it's great. He's actually beaten me 26 times. So Michael Holdman, who is watching, keeps track of this. He beat me again the other day, Michael. So it's 26 times or 27. But he beats me. It's pretty sad. When you're up there with Cadby, and Cadby, he comes out strong, he's fast, but when he starts to lose, and I've noticed this in watching some of his things, he kind of gives up. He kind of loses. Did you feel that he did that during that? It didn't seem like it, but was that feeling there?
No, it wasn't a feeling because at that stage, Corey was still unpredictable in what he could do. He could go, as you say, he could go off for a bit and then bang, he could fly back into it. I just said to myself, just give yourself opportunities because there's going to be a couple when they come in, and when you get them, take them.
Yeah,
and I did.
Are you and Corey mates? I got to use the proper language. I can't say friend because that's us, but you guys, are you guys mates?
I haven't seen him for a while, but we are mates. We do get along. We've got the same sense of humour. I haven't seen him since he went home. That was after the Melbourne Masters last year.
Yeah. Yeah. I saw an interview with him not too long ago where he expressed that, sorrow for how things had kind of played out. He also expressed, that he'd gone through what he needed to correct himself, and he wants to come back and get his tour card. Would that be something that's exciting to you? I mean, for me, it is. I love watching him play. I love the swagger. I think the PDC needs a couple of guys that, the crowd can get behind in that attitude. But
yeah, I'd love to come back because it gives us it gives us Australians more comfortability when we're playing because we've got mates around. Myself, Damon, Simon, and Corey, and you can stick Paul Nicholson in there as well. You got a couple of boys from Australia trying out for Q School in January, so the more the merrier. And we just we bounce off each other in every way. It's we could come from Brisbane, Perth, Melbourne, wherever, but as soon as you get us in the same room, it's like glue. We just work off each other, support each other, no matter who's playing what. We're there for each other.
Yeah, it's green and gold all the way. Yeah,
it is. And being that far away from home, you need that sort of ground support.
Yeah. So, what's that like being that far from home? I talked with Dawson Michelle a while back, and he expressed kind of the troubles he went through. And of course, he stepped away from darts this past year, gave up his tour card. What's it like? I mean, like you've said, you've basically spent the last number of years away from the family. Are you guys calling each other every day? What's the struggles like as a dad or as a player, just being away from the family?
I'll go first off with being dad. That's the more struggle because with our time difference from the UK to here, I'll ring up my son 9 o'clock in the morning. It's his bedtime. So he gets back from school. I can't ring him up and talk, how was your day, son? Because I'm already knocked out in bed. And then when he gets home, I've got to ring him up when I wake up first thing. So when I go to bed, he's going to school. So it's not really much time during to catch up. And with darts, of course, there's that side and there's mental side. So you're whilst your mind is occupied playing darts, you don't think about home. As bad as that sounds, you've got a job to do, so you don't think about it. But once you get back to your hotel room, you're in four walls. And a lot of the guys in England, and I'd say pretty much Michael as well, when they have a good day, they can fly an hour and go home or drive an hour down the road and go back to their wives. Yeah. I couldn't do that. So, when you lose a big match and you go back to your hotel, you can't just ring them up and say, Bob, I need to talk to you, or this is what happened. I've got this in my mind. You're by yourself. And that was the hardest thing for me as a dart player. You can't get over that sort of disappointment because first thing you do when you have a bad day at work, you sit down and speak to your significant other, whoever it is, and you get taken off your chest. But I couldn't do that because, you just don't have that connection with people that you live with or what so to give you problems off to in that sense.
Yeah. And other darts players probably don't want to hear you complain about, having an issue. So
exactly right. Exactly. And with telling your wife or your partner, whoever you're with, how you played, you say, I played okay. But they can give you the truth. And like, no, you actually played horrible. You missed this double to win that leg, which could turn the whole thing around. So you sit down and you think, well, I did actually, yeah. But when you're by yourself, all you think about is bad things and what you did wrong and not the good things you did. Because I remember I played against Simon at a match play a couple of years back and it was pretty close, but I missed a couple of opportunities to get in front. And I had my wife and my son there with me. And we went back to the room and I must have had about a good half an hour shower, just stood there and just one of them days where you get home and you just stand there and not do nothing and shower. And she comes in, she goes, you okay? And I'm like, no. And she just turns around, she goes, you want to talk? I said, not really. It's just one of them things.
Yeah. Speaking of Simon, he's had a few bad years of late. I mean, considering what we have come to expect out of Simon, do you think, I mean, do you think there's a turning around? Have you talked to him about it? Do other darts players kind of talk to each other and say, hey, here's kind of what I'm seeing? I know Peter Wright's made some comments about MVG in the attitude that he's like, hey, I see what he's doing wrong. I can help him out. But is that something you guys do in the back room? Do you help each other?
Not really. Well, I don't see that sort of side. I see that sort of side. The way it is, we're all contractors fighting for that big contract. So you don't really want to help someone else get in front of you by saying this, or that, and that. I mean, the guys like Peter Wright, they talk to the younger kids that come through and help them through. I've seen that happen. But when you're on par, or when you're trying to fight for that top spot, or get to where you need to be, I haven't seen that about. But I can understand why they don't in that aspect, because you don't want to give out your secrets or, someone to get on top of you by you helping them.
Yeah, it's still a competition, whether you're in the back room or you're on the stage. I mean, you can be friends, you can hang out, but you don't need to talk business.
Exactly.
Yeah. So just out of curiosity, what's your thoughts on Simon? Is there something that you've seen? He's not watching this, so you're not going to give out any secrets. Unless he happens to catch it, Simon A. I mean, I love Simon. I love just his look and his swagger, his attitude. He's got a great barrel. It looks like a javelin.
Mm-hmm.
But he just seems to be off mark. He's not hitting the 180s like he, used to. He's certainly not hitting the doubles like we're used to seeing him do, and he's not getting the chances. Is there something that you've seen in his game?
To be honest, I haven't seen much of Simon lately, because when they're playing in the Pro Tour, it's 3-4 in the morning over here, so I can't really catch a glimpse of it. But he just needs to go back to what got him there, which is big finishes. And that's it. I mean, Simon's always been a big hitter, a big scorer, and he does have big legs where he scores. But his doubles aren't just doing him favours at the moment. He needs to get back on and start hitting them doubles again. And Simon's the only one that can help himself. I mean, he used to tell me all he practiced was his doubles, doubles, and it shows when he's on form that his confidence on doubles are there. But I just don't think he's got that at the moment.
Yeah,
I don't know why, but it's just one of them things that happen when your confidence isn't there on doubles. It doesn't come back straight away. It hurts you.
Yeah, triples for dough, triples for show, doubles for dough, as they say. What's it like? I guess the mental thing, because I like to touch on this when I'm talking with others about darts. The mental aspect of being at the Aki, you really have to shut everything else off. You got to shut family off. And that's hard to do. What are like some tricks that maybe you do, or do you just get to the Aki and it's like, okay, it's time. I'm at work. This is my job.
Soon you walk through that curtain, you've got to shut it off. It's harder to say than it is to do. I've had to play on days when I found out my uncles have passed away the moment before I walk on. So I've had to get on there and just do your job, then come back off and just I've cried when I came through the curtain. It's just a job that you have to show face.
Yeah.
If you don't show face, it could change from having £1,000 in your bank to £5,000. And that's a lot of money when you're thinking of it.
Yeah. Yeah. So the PDC, I've heard a number of times that they need to put a show on. They need to entertain, and you guys are entertainers as much as you are sportsmen and as much as you are darts players. What's that like? I mean, do they try and push for specific entertainment pieces? I know, like, you've got Peter, you have Dawson when he was doing his little dancing thing and those types of things. Is there kind of they have a conversation with you guys about trying to push up the crowds?
I don't think they have conversations. I just think it's normal people's characteristics that come out when they get on stage. Some people stand there and freeze. Some people dance. It's like a club. You go to a club, you got people who dance or people who stand in the corner and drink. It's that's how it is. I'm one of the guys that stand in the corner. I can't dance, so I just stand in the corner and get up, wave, wipe my feet, and that's it. We're on. Other than that, you got Dimitri. That's him all over. Dawson, that's him. They're there for fun. They're there for the enjoyment. My main focus was to get money.
Yeah. Yeah. We're not going to see like a new move in 2021 when you come back to the stage, get like a little something.
No way.
No.
If I try a new move, mate, I might fall over.
We'll have to get something like Peter does, because it's not really a move. It's just a scoot across the stage. So we'll have to get something like that for you. I did want to ask you about the 9-darter against Ian White. That was amazing. Of course, any 9-darter that we see is fun, but that was the second one that night. Can you explain kind of what that's like? I mean, like, I've never hit a 9-darter. Okay. I think I've hit 2 180s, like a 180 back to back, like once or twice in my life. So the possibilities are slim for me. What's that like, that excitement, that jubilation?
I've hit a couple back home before I hit that 9, so I was confident I could do them, but TV is strange. It's different animal. So I was practicing before I went on stage, and Terry Jenkins was playing, and he hit the 9-darter. And about 5 to 10 minutes before Terry hit his, I said to my mate in the players' room, I said, I feel I went like a 9-darter tonight. And he's joking. He said, oh, whatever, and some other words. And I was like, no, seriously, I do feel like one. Lo and behold, I remember I had a hand warmer, one of them lints where you light the lead in it, and I had it, and it burnt my leg. So I threw it at him, and it burnt his leg. And then, lo and behold, half an hour later, bang, there it came. That was more special because Bo was in the crowd. I didn't care about the elation of the crowd. I didn't care about the prize money, what it got me. Because when you got a brother that plays the same sport as you, all you want to do is perform with them in any way possible. And with him in the crowd, that was. If you remember, I pointed to someone in the crowd. That was a Bo.
Yeah, and they showed him. They showed him on. I watched the replay a while back, prepping for this, of course. But and they showed him on the camera. Do you actually get additional monies for hitting a 9-darter on a TV situation?
You did for that one, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I couldn't remember if you did on that one. And I know that I think it was your first ranking Pro Tour win. I believe you hit a 9-darter during that. Is that correct?
That's correct. That was against, I think it was Ronnie Hybrex.
I believe so. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, yeah. How many 9-darters have you had? I know televised, we can all look that up, but you guys, they happen in Pro Tour events continuously. I mean, they do.
Roughly about, I think, 6 or 7.
Nice.
That's counting. I did a couple that weren't counted back home in Australia, but not over there. So about 6 or 7, I think. Yeah.
Nice. That's 6 or 7 more than I'll ever have. So
one of them was against Bo to beat him in a tournament. So as there was, cuddles and everything else, was a push after, and he told me to go away.
Yeah.
Other than that, it gave him 5 minutes. He cooled down and said, "Well done."
Nice. Who's been one of your favorite players to play against?
On TV, you have to say Michael or Phil, because they get the crowd involved no matter where they are. Whatever happens, the crowd just want to sing and chant and call their names. Off TV, anyone really, because you've got that. Everyone's part of it, not part of the team, but everyone's there to fight for it. So it's no different. Of course, you got guys like Justin. No offense to Justin, I love him to bits, but he's a bit slower in that way, and Brendan as well. You can't get a rhythm on, but everyone else just does their job and gets on with it.
So it's just good competition. Is there someone you don't like to play?
It used to be Chisholm and Ian White. It used to be. I think there was a time when I couldn't beat Dave. There must have been about six or 7 games in a row, and same as Ian White. He'd play, 90 average in the game before, and then I come up, bang, 111, and I'm like, okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
And then I got him one game. I think it was in Crawley. I think one weekend, got him there, and that was it. I felt good.
Yeah. Ian White's a good player. I don't think he gets enough credit for as good a player as he is.
He plays brilliantly on the floor, but I don't know why he just can't get it on TV. Nothing against him. As you said, he's a brilliant player, but everyone says, well, you can't perform on TV, so you're not that good. Well, maybe if they look at the PDC subscribe list and watch the games on there, they'll change their mind pretty quick because he's a good player.
Yeah, I've watched a number of Pro Tour events, where you guys are basically at the hotel down below or whatever, and he's a good darts player. He's won a number of Pro Tour events. He's done decent on TV, so I hope he does well. I like some of the older guys, Of course, there's the Bronze Adonis himself, who's I think 130 years old,
and 132 probably, yeah,
132, still pushing. So no one particular that you don't like playing other, currently. What about Gerwin Price? So everybody likes to talk about him because of the events that happened 2 years ago. I'm a huge Gerwin fan. I like him. I like you got to have a bad boy in every sport. You got to have a villain. He's worn that well, but I think he's gotten out of it. I don't think he's the villain so much anymore. What's it like being around him? What's he like?
Away from the board, we're all the same.
Yeah.
We're not, as the saying goes, everyone looks at him and thinks, well, he must be a horrible bloke. But no, away from the board, he's just like me. Down to earth, has a chat to you. I think once he gets on that board, it's no holds barred. It's whoever wants to win. That's how you got it. Some people have that sort of mongrel in them, some don't.
Yeah.
Me, I haven't got it. I was brought up different. But, he's played rugby, so he's had that hard edge, in your face attitude, and it works for him. So, but no, Gerwin Price is brilliant. As for Michael, he may come off arrogant on TV sometimes, but off TV, he'll do anything for you.
Yeah. Yeah. So is that a piece of your game that you hope to gain, that ability to, when the person's down, to step on their throat and crush them and get the win? Is that something that you look to gain?
I've got that, but not in the demeanor of in your face. Yeah. I sort of like playing against Michael and Gerwin because when they play that way and they scream, it makes me smile because I'm just cool and calm when I'm playing well. I just go up and do like Kim Hybrecht as well. They've got to have that sort of adrenaline rush and release their anger or whatever it is on the board, where I just go up. Only time I release that is if I smack that 1-4-1 after the 2 180s, and that's it. Then it's coming. But I was just brought up differently. It's you take what you get, you give what you get, and act like you need to be.
Yeah. I think that's the etiquette is a big thing. I know that PDC allows for certain etiquette to go because it is a show. There's got to be entertainment. We, the people that are paying to see it, want to be entertained. But there is an etiquette, and I will say, I play in a league, and I have seen some people that have tried to be the show, like the PDC, and it just doesn't come off well when you're, in a pub playing darts.
No. When you're in the corner pub, you can't really give it the big and just scream at the wall. You've got to just go get your darts and come back and enjoy the game. That's where you learn the game. It's not, when you get to big money tournaments or so, where you kind of let the elation out, that's understandable. But when you're at the pub, we've all got them. We've all got the people that play, and they know who they are.
Yeah, and they're normally not the best players. So
no, they've had a little bit too much apple juice, and they're like, "Yeah, let's go, boys."
Yeah. So virtual darts, which has become a thing for sure this year, and I don't think it's going away. Have you had any time or spent any time playing any virtual darts?
I've played a couple. I haven't played every single one, but I've played a couple. When I got the setup at home, as I said, I don't ever practice. So when I'm home, I don't practice. So I've recently got a board put up, and I've started throwing. So, but it was okay. I don't like it as such because you can't see what they're hitting. Yeah. I don't have the big iPad or a TV screen up so I can watch it. I have the phone hooked up so they can see my score. And I'm too trusting in that game. But you don't know who you're playing against. You don't know what they're hitting. And sometimes people don't have it on clear enough for you to play. But I've got mates around the corner that play as well, so I just go see them and we'll have a game.
Yeah, we're playing virtual for my league, and it's been pretty decent. I'm going to pump myself up here due to a DQ or someone that wasn't able to play. I made the finals, so I was in the semis, and the person I was supposed to play wasn't able to do the match. So I'm now in the finals, which we're playing tomorrow night. But it's been fun to play virtually. But there's shadows. There's other issues that come up with the game. So, so with the virtual thing, we've been talking about that quite a bit on this show and with different people that have been on. I think that we're going to see a fracture within darts where we're going to have the virtual game and we're going to have, the in-person type of game. Any thoughts on that?
It's going to be different. It's going to be different. I mean, there's big money tournaments going around. I can't see why it won't take off, but you've got to have that element of trust in people that are actually going to be truthful in that fact. There's been a lot of, I don't know if you've seen it on Facebook, although when it first came out, a lot of guys were cheating, they got caught. If they can stamp that out, it'll go far, because if you can play for big money in your room, why would you want to go anywhere else?
Yeah.
If I can go to my garage and have a game out there and win, say, £1,000 on a Saturday afternoon, my wife's going to be happy. She'd be like, "You can go darts all the time, just don't leave the garage."
Yeah. After you're done winning that money, you can go now mow the lawn.
Yeah.
Exactly. Get that honey-do list done.
Exactly right.
Yeah. So, getting back to Shot and the transition there, why Shot? Other than, okay, they're a local company. They're an up and coming. The company been around for 50 years, and honestly, in the last probably 4 years, they've jumped into this incredible barrel making manufacturer. Their boxes have come a huge jump and leap as far as the look. But there's other brands out there. Was there something specific other than them being a local brand?
When I left last time, it was pretty much I moved to England. So the contract was up. I moved to England and I wanted to come back. I always wanted to go back to it, no matter where I was, how I got into the world of darts. And I wanted to go back and show thanks. For sure. They were my first main sponsors. So I was pretty much just straight in. There was no thinking about it. There was no umming and ahhing. It was negotiation, bang, in. There was no second thoughts. So when I knew Pete was available and Pete wanted it as well, I pretty much said straight away, yeah, we're cool.
Great. So, just kind of curious, because I do, you see players move. MVG, of course, moved. And I think that was a smart move, because he went to a brand that was really darts, that wasn't a sporting goods manufacturer, was a darts manufacturer. I think it's been a little bit of a struggle. He's not finding the grip or the barrel that he likes currently, and it takes time. Are you concerned at all when you get back to actually being at the Auckland and playing, with a new barrel? There's an adjustment that's going to be there?
Not at all, because if you watch me at UK Open this year, I didn't use my darts at all. I picked up Adam Hunt's darts probably the Monday before the UK Open and played against Luke Humphries with them. And average over 90, I was happy with that. The way I was playing, I hadn't averaged over 90 for about a good 2 months in the UK. So I thought, you know what, try something different. Did so. And I was like, okay, they feel good. And it gave me a new lease on what is now.
Yeah. Is there an exit plan? Do you ever think about, hey, I've had a really bad year, I've had a bad season, I've fallen out, being in the top 64? Is that a point where you and the family have said, if that happens, maybe it's time to walk away?
If I fall out top 64, it is game over. Yeah, I'll come back and play in Australia. Not because I've fallen out, because I've given what I could. And if you can't maintain your ability to stay in the top 64, then it's come back home, be family, and play in the Australian tour.
Yeah, well, at least you've got a plan there. A lot of players don't plan that way. For young players that are getting into, darts or that have the ability to take it to the next level, what would be something that you would express to someone that's saying, hey, I want to be a PDC player? What are some pitfalls they should look to avoid?
First thing is dedication. If they want to be a PDC player, travel a lot. Get used to being away. Because if like Dawson, I don't think Dawson knew what it was like to travel and go play away. He did the odd here and there, but I was used, for living in Perth, we always had to travel from Perth to Melbourne, Brisbane, Canberra, Sydney, all them things. So I was used to being away for a certain period of time. And then when it came to the point to move to England, of course you've got to be nervous. It's a new start. It's new everything else. But you've got to be really prepared for the loneliness, the hotel life, the suitcase life, and just got to be mentally prepared.
Yeah.
In practice-wise, just make sure you can score and hit them doubles. As jovial as it seems and so easy, it's the hardest thing on that board to do.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's a big difference when your next meal's riding on you hitting that double or not.
If you can't pay rent and your hand's shaky, you need 32 to pay your rent. Unfortunately, you got to hit that 32.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think a lot of people understand when you cross over, you don't get a work visa to work anywhere. You're there to play darts, and that's really how you have to live. By what you win, unless you've got huge backing from a brand or someone like that. Which, honestly, if you're not in the top 64, you don't have that.
You don't get to start off with whatever you got. You've got to make your way to get to it.
Yeah.
I was just lucky that I hit 9-dart leg in the Worlds, and that gave me, everyone knew who I was. And if it weren't for that, I don't think it would have happened.
Yeah. So someone asked a question here about dartitis, and I was going to ask you that. Has that ever been an issue for you? And what advice would you give to someone that has dartitis?
Never have ever had dartitis. I know people that have. I don't know how they're good out of it, but they have had it. Advice for it? I wouldn't have a clue because I've never been in that situation. I've always had fun with releasing my dart, and it was just. I really think that it's really mind over matter in that situation. It's like throwing a rock. If you can still throw a rock, you can still throw a dart in that sense.
Yeah.
Don't think about throwing the dart and hitting the board. Think about throwing that dart through the board. I tried to help a bloke at a pub with it. I sat with him and everyone's like, how have you got the patience? I said, because it's a game that we all love. So I just tried to help him release the dart as in throwing like a rock and by still using the elbow motion, but just releasing it as a rock. So I picked up a rock and said, here, throw that, and get it easy. So I said, just get that into your mind and see how we go from there.
So go out and throw some rocks at stuff. That'll help.
Yeah. Just not at windows.
Just not at windows. I'm trying to think. It was about 3 years ago. There was a gentleman, I can't remember his name. It was a darts player during a tournament that showed, had played pretty decent up until that moment. All of a sudden, he just couldn't release the dart. And I think it was like 5 or 6 minutes went by.
Was that Christian Kiss? No. Barry Van Peer.
Yes. Yeah.
Grand Slam that was.
Yeah. And I just remember watching that, and I felt so bad for him. And I was like, is that a real thing? Like, really does it? Because you hear about it, but I've never met anybody that's had the issue. And then to see
I've met people at home that have had it, but I've never, on a professional stage, I've never heard of it just come up like that. So,
yeah.
Matt, you got to follow me because my phone's going flat, so I've got to walk to a charger.
Yep. No worries. No worries at all. So this is the Cribs edition of Coffee and Darts.
Yeah.
So we get to see what the ceiling looks like in Kyle Anderson's place.
Well, that's it. Well, now you're in the master bedroom. You ain't going to see it, but...
All right. There we go.
There we are.
So, wow, I just had a question in my head, and it kind of just went right on out with the Cribs comment. So we talked a little bit about dartitis. So you don't practice a whole lot when you're home. When you're on tour, what is a practice routine that you like to do? Is there a particular game, or is there something that you like to do?
Pretty much scoring. I feel most comfortable when you're hitting 180s. When you're scoring powerful, you feel like you're invincible on the board because you know you've got the backing of that powerful scoring that you have. If you go back-to-back 180s, of course you're going to go for the 1-for-1. But if I'm struggling on some doubles, I usually pick them out and just go for combination shots. Say, for example, if you're struggling on tops, go 50s, 10 tops, 11 tops, 12 tops. Just keep hitting that combination until you hit that double. Sometimes you're going to miss it. Sometimes you're going to hit it. It's just a fact of darts. But if you're on the top wire and they both go on top wire, you still miss. Or if it goes below, they're still good thrown darts. You know you're in the vicinity, but it's just a matter of not going in. And unfortunately, darts is a game that millimeters can cost you a good shot.
Yeah.
No matter how good that dart goes, it's not like archery where you got a big massive dot to go for. You just got that little skinny little red thing up top.
Yeah. Well, and it's a lot of people. I've had so many people tell me, "Oh, darts is simple. You just throw," and I'm like, "Nah, you need to play it to understand it." But from a pro perspective, for us, the average journeyman type darts player, if we're a little outside, like even a half an inch, we're like, okay, at least I'm getting close. But for someone who's the money's on the line and the championship's on the line, even 2 millimeters, 3 millimeters out can be a mental block, from hitting that particular double.
The worst thing as a dart player, say if you're needing tops, right? You got say 112 or 118, you go 60, you go 18, you're going for tops. You hear that click. You're more angry that you heard that click than missing by that much. If you miss by that much, you knew there's a way to move. But you threw that dart so perfectly, you hit that click and you're like, oh. And sometimes, look at it, the game against Michael Van Gerwen in European Championships in the semi-final. I had 80 left, 60 went in plumb. Of course, missed double 10, wide double 5. Now, I heard that click. If that would have been a millimeter lower, I'd have been in the final, Grand Slam, Premier League, all that stuff. Unfortunately, didn't happen.
Yeah. Yeah, it's millimeters. It's millimeters. I believe it was MVG that you were playing where you, I think it was 2 160s. I don't remember what tournament that was, but it's in my head.
Masters, that was 2015.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was another really good game, good match.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to ask you about ladies in darts. So you're a PDC player, and of course the BDO is essentially defunct. They're still around. They're not really doing much of anything. They're doing some small little league stuff. But now we have the ladies getting into darts. We've got ladies that have tour cards. What's your thoughts on playing the ladies or having the ladies involved?
It's part of the game now. It's part of the game. I grew up playing youth darts where you had to play against girls. It's part of the game. I think there's a stigma that men should not lose to women. I don't agree with that. If women can play like we can play, there's no physical boundary to say that women can't play in men's games, or vice versa in that matter, because it's not a physical match. It's no contact sport where it's going to be a men's more dominant in the game. No, it's just as you said, we're throwing some darts at the board. If them girls can be accurate, let them play.
Yeah, I've always said this sport is the equalizer. It doesn't matter your age, doesn't matter your height, it doesn't matter weight, it doesn't matter. There's nothing that determines whether you can play this sport or not, other than throwing a dart at a board. Everybody stands the same distance, the board's the same height. It's just a matter of having the accuracy to hit, the segment you need to hit.
That's exactly right. It's exactly right. If girls want to come play, I'm all for it. They can play well. I mean, look at Fallon. She played well against Ted. She played well against all the boys.
Yeah.
The thing I didn't agree with, though, was the crowd. That's the only thing.
Yeah, that was a shame because Ted's a great guy. From what I've heard, I have not had the opportunity to talk to him or meet him, but a lot of people have said great things about him. And the crowd was unfair. And then she played Solovic next and beat him. And I mean that's something to be said.
Yeah,
I think he was still top 6 at the time. So I mean that's something to be said. And then of course she was the Duza, I think it was, that she lost to. Which, let's be honest, a lot of people are losing to him these days.
Exactly.
Which is kind of fun to say. So I got a question here from Lash05. Take it that this young lady is 14 years old, and they have a 60 average. They want to know if that's would be considered a good average for that age group.
Well, I was throwing that when I was 14, 15, 16. Just get yourself into a regime where you can score big. I used to say to myself, get 3 darts in the top 20 segment, because then you're looking at a 60 average. So if you can get 3 darts in your top 20 segment, let 1 dart fall in the 60 every now and again, you can bump that up 3 points.
Yeah.
When you get that, then you learn to get the target even more. It becomes easy. Frustrating, but it comes easy.
Yeah. I mean, it's a game of practice. It's a game of hours.
It's a game of hours. It's a game of dedication. It's a game of mental stability in that thing, because you in this game you fail a lot before you do succeed. And you can go up and throw a 180 net one shot, and then you hit 26 the next. Even us pros still do it. You look at it that way, that's a failure. 180 to 26, but it's how you rebound from it.
Yeah, it's really a matter of putting in the time and the effort. I've heard Phil Taylor talk about the hours and hours that he put in to become the best darts player ever. In regards to older darts players, older professionals, there's one thing that I've always I guess they did this at one point, but I would really like to see them do this on the regular, is come up with kind of, I don't want to call it a senior tour. Maybe you call it the old man tour or something of that nature, but get some of these guys to come back. I mean, I would love to see Bobby George, come back and throw some darts against Phil and do like a 5 tournament series around the world. And just
exactly. Why not have, how they got the World Series concept? Why not have that for, say, the you can't call it the seniors, maybe the old timers.
Yeah,
just call it something like that, because they're still throwing good darts.
Yeah,
John Lowe can still do it. Bob Anderson can still do it. Peter Manley can. And I know Wayne Mardle can still do it. So why not chuck them all in?
Yeah, I think you call it the Masters Master. Something like that. But speaking of Wayne, I would love to see Wayne and Gerwin and Bobby George. The 3 of them should go on tour together and play darts. I think that would be extremely hilarious. Just the big attitudes that they all have. So
it'll be an eye opener, I reckon.
Speaking of some of the older darts players that aren't currently playing, now you had the ability to play Phil, or had the opportunity to play Phil, who to this day, if he came back, there would be people quaking that would be worried about their tour cards. But speaking of some of the older guys, is there someone that you would love to have the opportunity to play?
Bob Anderson, I'd love to have played. Cliff Lazarenko. There's a lot, to be honest. I would have loved to have shared the stage with Peter Manley.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have. I don't know, he's got that sort of mentality. I've got a sense of humour. I would have laughed it off, I reckon. But Bristow even. I met him away from the board, and I said to him, mate, if you were my age and we went to school together, we'd be best mates. I said, because you got my sense of humour. You don't take anything from anybody. You have a good laugh, and that's what you're here for.
Yeah.
End of. You're not here to, to be serious all the time. You're here to have fun and enjoy it. And that's what I like about people. If you can mix your darts with fun and enjoyment, then come sit at my table.
Yeah. It should be fun. I mean, those that get to play for a living, darts, there's no way you can take life too seriously. You get to play darts. And,
well, you see, considering where I've come from to what I've made out of my career in darts, I've played since I was 13. 11. I filled in when I was 11. It's been my life. It was never an ambition to be a pro dart player because geographically it was going to be hard. Being an Australian boy to go play pro darts in England, no, I didn't see that happening. What made me do it was a 9-dart leg. How I got to get my tool card, how to go for it, the bloke who sponsored me to go for the Worlds, who I burnt his leg with that lighter, he paid for my tour card entry. He goes, mate, you're going to England. I said, I can't. I've just got home. He goes, I've paid for your flight already. He goes, you're going. I said, what am I going to tell my wife? I've just got home from England. Now you want me to go back again for another week. He goes, it's your problem. So I told her, and she goes, all right. Then she goes, what happens if you get a tour card? I didn't think about it. I wasn't going there to see if I could get one. I was going to see how good I was, actually. And the first day I got it, and she turns around and goes, what's that mean? I said, well, maybe we got to move now. End of story. She goes, what if I don't want to? So I was like, oh, okay, here we go. I said, well, if you don't want to, I'll be upset for a couple of weeks, but then I'll get on with life. Then next day she came back with a resignation letter and said, here we go. Let's go.
Nice.
And that was
nice. It. Well, we're thankful that your wife, was willing to give it a shot.
Mm.
You've produced some incredible matches, incredible games that we've been able to enjoy watching. And you're a great personality for the sport, a great ambassador for Australian darts for sure, and now for shot darts. We're getting close to what I call the end of the show, or landing the plane. But you brought up kind of your upbringing. Do you want to touch base a little bit more on kind of the upbringing of Kyle Anderson?
I wasn't brought up in a flash house. I wasn't brought up in a well area. Me and Damon, we weren't poor by any means, but we weren't rich. We had to fight for what we got. Being of Aboriginal descent, I've had challenges that you can understand what would happen, what in the day and age of what happens with people of different colour skin. It happens. I don't shy away from the fact of it happening. It's life as we know it. You have to get through it. Tough times happen, all that happens. I don't want to go into full detail of what you can read between the lines sometimes, and it's just setbacks that you don't need, and to get through them is what you need to do. And I got through them. Bo got through them. Dad got through them. So I learned from them how to maintain a straight face when you're upset. So that's why I say when they give you the full raw on your face, I smile and let it go off, because it's how I was learned in that way.
Yeah. So when we see you back at the PDC, are we going to still have the full beard? Or are we going to trim this up?
Well, I don't know. It depends on what the wife says. I want to keep growing it.
I think it'd be good.
When I had COVID, I didn't shave it for about 3 months, and she was down. So, and then had to go meet her family, and I had to go, ta-da.
Clean it up.
Yeah. I'm thinking of it. Maybe it could come out. I might need to get a new passport photo, but hey, it's what it is.
So you and Simon could be the bearded brothers or something,
He's just got a goatee. Come on.
That's true. That's true. He doesn't have that full. I like it. It looks good. It's kind of very rugged. I think it's good.
He's got the David Jones look lately. He hasn't with little spots coming out from left, right. I'm just waiting for him. I'm just going to wait for him to start spitting on stage one day.
It could happen. Hey, Kyle, it's been a pleasure having you on the show. We're gonna go ahead and land this plane, as I like to say. It's really been a pleasure. If you'll hold on for a second and just kind of hang out in the back room, love to just kind of finalize everything. But I'm gonna pull you off real quick and just kind of do the land the plane situation. But thank you so much for being on the show, and happy birthday once again. hopefully it'll be a good day for you because it's still not even midday where you're at. So hopefully you guys will have a really good day. So if you just hold on a second, I'm going to close it out.
No worries, man. Cheers. Thank you.
Thanks. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for catching this episode of Coffee and Darts and hanging out with myself and Kyle Anderson. Had a pleasure chatting with him. Hopefully you guys enjoyed hanging out with us and just the conversation that took place and learning a little bit more. Remember, he's now with Shot Darts. So he's got a new barrel coming out, and it was a great process that he went through working with them. And so check out shotdarts.com, check out their Facebook page, and just start following them. You'll know when his barrel drops. And I just do want to point this out. Louis Williams will be joining me Wednesday morning at 8 a.m. So come on by, check out Louis Williams. He's a young phenom that's playing for Target Darts. He'll be on the show at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Thanks again, everybody. I will see you on Wednesday. And also, don't forget to check out Magicwear for your incredible jersey needs. Thanks again, everybody. See you soon.